Welcome to Earth 2 Comic Cast, where superheroes exist and comic book and TV shows are the norm. Yes, the reason I did it that way is because this is a comic book TV show that we got to see at New York Comic Con, and then we got to talk to the cast and some of the creators at Comic Con. So yeah, sit back, relax, and as always,
welcome to the planet.
This one is Marvel's The Runaways. So Marvel's Runaways is based on the comic book under the same name, The Runaways, that was created by Brian K. Vaughan, and this is about 6 teenagers who found out that their parents, 6 teenagers with powers who find out that their parents are the evil ones, that and then they have to stop their parents and in order to save the world. But there is a real grounding to it because these are 6 teenagers and they're very young people, and they have to come together and actually be friends and then try to save the world. Being that we were there at the round table and we got to talk to some of the creators themselves, so we got to talk to Stephanie Savage and Jeff Schwartz, also the executive producer Jeff Loeb. That was really interesting, and if you watch the video that I have coming up in a second, you see Jeff had a dig or a couple of digs at me. But yeah, I'm not gonna ramble any longer. Here is the interview with Jeff, Stephanie, and Josh.
Using characters that's like B team or C team and stuff, and when y'all announced the Runaways, I was like, okay, that's interesting. So what was like?
We would like to disagree with you that the Runaways are B team or C team. That is an A team comic.
Okay, A team comic. I'm just saying the team as a whole. But what was the idea going forward?
No, I mean, look, there's no secret about this. I mean, you can go back 4 or 5 years on this thing called the interweb, and look up when Marvel Television was in its infancy, meaning we had no shows, and people put together lists that they wanted to have, and consistently within the, if you get any closer, you're going to be behind me.
That's what he's shooting. Gal Gadot's standing behind you. He's eating a Reese's peanut butter.
You'll see that Runaways was, if not in the top 5, in the top 3. And I think that speaks to what Brian K. Vaughan and Adrian Alonso created, in that it being a story that people can understand and find universal across the board, which is, every teenager thinks that their parents are evil. What if they were? And the characters were extremely well drawn and taken from life, which is something that we always try to do. And I think the other thing that's pretty extraordinary is that given this comic was 15 years ago, how diverse the cast was, how strong the female characters were, and this was really something that was a jump away from things that people were doing in comics at that time. And then they came along and
tried not to screw it all up.
What's the most exciting thing about working with this kind of a story with a cast of so many young characters? Because so much of the Marvel Universe that we've seen are adults, but this comes with a whole new slew of problems.
Yeah, well, that's our background, is working with young actors and hopefully discovering, people who you'll want to invite into your homes, on a weekly basis. So that's actually the fun part.
Not literally, you can't have them come to your house.
Greg Sullivan is available. There's a number you can call.
Next up, we have Allegra Acosta and Ariella Barrer. Now, these were 2 girls who were really, really excitable to talk to and everything, and they both play Molly and Gertz. They were really interesting to talk to, and I love talking to these girls and asking them questions. And here is their exclusive interview.
Another badass chick. She's a very passionate person, and she takes a lot of the world's problems personally, and there's a lot of anger and there's a lot of hardness within her, but it stems from this genuine desire for this better world and this love for people. And I think her arc is kind of about softening and learning to open up to these people without changing who she is.
That was pretty awesome. Like I said, I enjoyed talking to them, and again, these are young people, so you can tell they have a little anxiety, but they were really professional. Next up, I have for you Renzi Feliz and Greg Sulkin. These dudes play Alex and Chase. You can these dudes are really great to talk to, and you can tell how they felt about the characters when they finally found out about the characters later on. So here is their exclusive interview.
For the perception, at least, I guess. Maybe on the front end, the characters might assume.
Oh, what's the question?
Well, I'm saying, is it more so, are the characters assuming he's just this kind of like, oh, he's a jock, he doesn't know much?
Yeah, 1,000,000%, and I think it's fun. You know, it's kind of fun to a little bit be like the underdog. You know, I think a lot of people think Chase is like just this protein indulged human being, you know, but in fact he's not. He's very smart. He has untapped flashes of brilliance when it comes to engineering, and I think Chase will use that to his advantage, to be a smart ass and to be a bit of to try and be funny once in a while. For sure.
Chase definitely. I don't know about Greg.
Yeah. I literally said this to Josh last night. I was like, thank you for writing and making me funny, because in real life I do struggle.
Yeah, you got a lot of laughs last night.
I know. I don't know why.
Awesome.
It's amazing. It must have been the edit, I think.
We were asking a couple of the girls before if they had been familiar with the property, if they had to run out to the comic book store and start to get reference, and they did, and found that they didn't get any discount for being characters. And did you guys have to do the same thing? Did you go out because you want to find out more about these guys that you're playing, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I went out, I read the entire first volume of it, right up until I died, and I decided that was good enough. No, but I got a very good understanding of the character when I was reading the sides, because we had fake sides, and so I feel like I understood it. I was like, I get this. Thank God there was comic book, thank God there was source material, so that I knew what they were going off of, and I knew kind of what they were in the realm, what they were looking for. And then I read the sides, and I get a natural intuition on how to play character, whatever, and that whole acting thing comes into it. But I loved it. I loved the comic books.
Yeah, same. We didn't know anything about the comic books before the audition and getting the role. Now, thankfully, Marvel are very generous, and they sent us all our own Marvel. They sent us a few things. They've sent us our own comic. They've sent us like a massive Marvel book, like all the Marvel.
Yep, that one.
Encyclopedia. I struggled saying it as well. Yeah, it's cool.
Awesome stuff, man. That was just really awesome. I really appreciate talking to these guys. Finally, last but not least, I have Virginia Gardner and Lyrica O'Connor. Hope I got that right. Lyrica O'Connor. Lyrica plays Nico. Virginia plays Carolyn. And here's their exclusive interview.
And of course, there is pressure. I know how great Nico is in the comics, and obviously I just want to do her justice, and also just make her just real as possible. Because I know the fans have been waiting for this for years, just to see us, live action and in real life form, and so yeah, it's quite a big deal. Yeah.
What was it that appealed to you guys about the project? Because it's like you go in these auditions and there's like 25 people, they all look exactly like you.
Yeah.
So like, did you have anything to go on to actually say, I'm the best person to play this character?
We didn't know much about it at all. Marvel's so secretive, so we didn't even have a script. We saw Marvel, we saw Josh Schwartz, Stephanie Savage. We were like, oh, that seems like a pretty good formula for a TV show. Obviously, Josh and Steph did OC and Gossip Girl, so it's like, obviously that's a show I want to be a part of. And then after the screen test for my part, Brett Morgan, our director, followed me out of the room and said, if I were you, I would read the Runaways comics and look at Carolina Deed. And I did, and I was like, that's a fucking cool character. I want to do that. And yeah, that's how I got into this.
Yeah, same. I didn't know much about the project. They wouldn't reveal to us what it was. But then they were specifically asking for a Japanese American to audition for the role. And that was enough for me to be like, you're gonna work. You're gonna work. You're gonna do this. And I looked up Marvel Japanese American, and Nico Minoru popped up, and there were most of the so that was easy to figure out. And same, I walked out of the screen test. Brett Morgan followed me, told me to read the comic book. I asked him if I got bored, and he just went and just hid behind darkness and just faded away.
That was awesome. So this was just some of the excerpts that I got from the Runaways panel. But there's more audio and a lot more stuff that has to do with this. So if you check out the podcast, the link is about to come up. Yes, you check out the podcast on Audio Mac. I have tons and tons of stuff on there. I have the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one. I have a lot of stuff. Also, I still have video from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that's going to come up later. So this was just one for the Runaways. And so I just want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Check out Earth 2 Comic Cast on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We have a lot more stuff from New York Comic Con that's going to go up on our social media sites. Thank you guys again I really appreciate everything you guys have done. I really appreciate you guys watching. And again, as always, Crosby, keep watching and enjoy your